Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the first official episode of TJ's Thoughts. TJ's Thoughts is a review kind of show, but I didn't want to use the TJ Reviews name for it because TJ Reviews is about video games, and that's what I want it to be about. And I wanted to have that real kind of polished look to it. TJ's Thoughts is basically me giving my thoughts and opinions on web series, movies, television shows, things like that. Things that are just not video games. For the premiere episode, I wanted to review a new web series that just came out by one of my most favorite people in the world, Amy Dallin. And that web series is Future Girl. The first episode came out on the 16th, which I'm so bad with dates. It's Tuesday. The first episode came out on Tuesday, and thus far it's been doing relatively well. And so I wanted to basically review the first episode, give my personal thoughts and opinions on it, and let you guys know, first of all, if it's there, and hopefully get more people to watch it, because overall I really enjoyed it. The basic premise of the show is M, who's played by Gina DeVivo, is just your regular 21st century girl, and she has a roommate who's from the future. That roommate is Curie, who's played by the lovely Amy Dallin. And Curie, for whatever reason, also brings a character named Viking. That is her name. She has no other name, just Viking, played by Heather Wood. And so all three of these people live in an apartment together, and antics ensue. Overall, the premise itself, I actually think is kind of cool. It's relatively original. I haven't heard of something like this before. It may just be my own lack of knowledge of it, but I thought the premise itself was kind of cute. The first episode is great. I really, really loved it. Amy is fantastic as Curie. As much as the character, the idea of the character itself is very unbelievable. This idea of someone coming from the future just to live in the present for an advanced degree. Just, it's not believable, but Amy makes it a very believable person. Like, she seems real, even though the premise behind her is very much not so. And I think comedic timing and everything, I think Curie is really, really good in everything she does. M, again, played by Gina DeVivo, I think is a little bit more hit and miss in my personal opinion. She does what I call Disney acting. If you've watched any Disney live-action comedies from the past, decade or so, anything from, I don't know, and I guess it technically, I call it Disney acting, but you see it on all these kind of kid comedy shows, whether it's Nickelodeon, Disney, it's Hannah Montana did it, iCarly did it, and all these things. They do this thing where they just put so much energy into the character that everything is kind of overblown, which is a common thing in comedic acting in general, that you kind of overreact to things. The thing that makes Disney acting kind of unique is the fact that it never turns off. Like, if you look at old comedy like Abbott and Costello, Costello would overreact to things all the time, and he would get but there was, he would turn it on and then he would turn it off, and he could be a little bit more serious and a little bit more normal. With Disney acting, it's just 100, they set it to 11 and just keep going. And in some instances, it works really, really well. Things like, I think the character's name was Spencer from iCarly. Yes, I watched iCarly. Get over it. Was just always set at 11, and he was hilarious. He was one of my favorite characters. M does something Gina as M does something very similar to that, where she's always kind of, she's got everything kind of turned up to 11, and she is very much projecting all of her emotions and everything very, very hard and very, very powerfully. And sometimes it works really, really well. And in my personal opinion, and sometimes it just comes off a little bit fake and a little bit like she's trying too hard to get her emotions and her ideas out to the camera. it's something that I've seen a lot in theater actors when they go to film, because in stage acting, you have to project your emotions and everything to the very back of the auditorium so that everyone can kind of get what you're doing. Film acting is much more intimate, and so that might be it, it might be not, it might just be the choice that she chose. Like I said, for a lot of the scenes and a lot of the gags in it, it works very well. But there are a few scenes, and I'm not going to go into details just because I don't want to spoil anything in it, that I just don't think it went over very well. And I think if she had toned it back just a little bit in those scenes, it would have been a little bit more believable. The last character, Viking, played by Heather Wood, to be honest, I can't really give an opinion on. She is not really in this episode very much. This is very much a Curie and M-centered episode, which is great because I think the chemistry between the two is really good. The few bits that I was able to see, again, Viking is another one of those very kind of unbelievable characters from a perception standpoint. You know, it's a Viking that somehow apparently speaks English, but doesn't do it well enough to understand the finer points of grammar and things like that. Like it's you know, it's a Tarzan type character. But the few scenes that she was in, I enjoyed. I really did, and I can't really give my opinion on her because she wasn't in the show enough. And I think that might be the only thing that I quote-unquote didn't like about the first episode, was the fact that I didn't really get to know Viking very well, and I'd like to. I think she's a really interesting character. However, I think overall the show itself was very well done in the subject matter and everything. Like, I don't think they could have added Viking more without it feeling a little bit too overwhelming. The pacing for the show is really, really good, and my personal favorite part of it, they do a fairly heavy amount of sight gags. I am a huge fan of sight gags. To me, they are one of the funniest things you can do in comedy, and they're also one of the most difficult things to pull off effectively. They require a little bit of miming ability. They require a lot of awareness of the scene and comedic timing, and they require a lot of physicality that you sometimes won't get in a comedic scene. And the sight gags are just brilliant. I do recommend when you watch the episode, you need to watch all the way through the credits. Because rolling through the credits is my favorite sight gag of the entire thing, and it's a long cut of them doing quite a few different sight gags, and it was just really, really well done. I found out last night that my favorite one, that I'm not going to spoil for you guys, wasn't actually scripted. It was an accident that Gina, I have a hard time with names. Gina just stayed in character for it when the accident happened, and it just came off brilliantly, especially since the other actresses in the scene were really reacting to it, and then Gina just does this brilliant thing, and it is so funny. I thought it was great. So overall, my opinion of the episode itself was I sincerely enjoyed it. I thought it was a fantastic first episode. I want to see the rest. Like I said, there were some minor nitpicky things I had, like some of Gina's acting decisions I would have done differently, which is probably why they didn't hire me. And I wish I could have seen a little bit more of Viking. But beyond that, I thought it was brilliantly well done. The few lines that the cat has are inserted very well. I'm interested to see where they take that character as well, and I cannot wait to see the next episode. They also have 2 minisodes that you really need to see because they are, again, they are very self-contained jokes that are well done. I have to say, I think I like the first minisode better than the second one, just because, again, it's a lot of sight gags, and I love sight gags, but both of them are really brilliant. I will have a link in the description below to watch it. The funny thing about this is my review for the episode is actually longer than the episode, so I apologize about that. I will try to be more succinct next time, but I had to get the whole premise and everything in this first episode. So, my plan is on every Friday, while Future Girl is going, I am going to have a TJ's Thoughts about the episode. giving you guys my personal opinion. Cast and crew and everybody of Future Go, if you're watching this, you guys made an amazing, amazing show. I can't wait for the next one, and I hope you guys enjoy my little bits of insight into the amazing project that you have created. So, links in the doobly-doo below. Please go out, watch the video itself. It's absolutely phenomenal. And let me know your thoughts on it as well in the comments below. All right, that's all for me today. I will see you guys next week for another TJ's Thoughts. All right, bye-bye.